When the Boston Celtics beat the Philadelphia 76ers on Wednesday night, Jrue Holiday's number was called upon unlike many others, and he stepped up big for the Boston Celtics offensively, unlocked his offensive potential for this team when stars Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis were sidelined versus the Philadelphia 76ers. We have an article to break down why Joe Mazzulla trusted in Jrue Holiday and some excerpts of how Jrue Holiday believes in himself for this Celtics team and how he can help out with the Boston Celtics. We also look at how the stars that were out in Wednesday's game versus the Philadelphia 76ers could potentially be back tonight for the in-season tournament game versus the Toronto Raptors. And we'll also be looking at superstar Jayson Tatum earning a nickname overseas. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, but before we get into any Boston Celtics content, I'd like to say that we're on our way to get to our new goal of 3,000 subscribers. We can't thank everyone enough that's already hit that subscribe button, but if you guys want to make sure you guys stay tuned on everything Boston Celtics, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we post content almost daily. We'll be having a post-game live stream following the in-season tournament game versus the Toronto Raptors tonight. So make sure if you have any questions or want to discuss any Boston Celtics news, tune into that and we'll have a whole breakdown there. But let's get into the news at hand today. Grab a snack as this is going to be another jam-packed episode as we have starting off talking about Jayson Tatum getting a new nickname. And yes, Jayson Tatum has a new nickname overseas. In China, they have deemed him as the nickname the Cute Rabbit. Jayson Tatum was recently informed that that is his new nickname from the CLNS media after the postgame, and his response to that was a little bit of silence, but he says, "I'll take it." He finds himself to be a very cute rabbit himself, but honestly, I think it's just a little funny nuance to bring upon, talking about how our superstar Jayson Tatum now has a nickname over in China. Obviously, these Chinese basketball people want to see Jayson Tatum succeed, and they're very, very big fans of him, which is great for Jayson Tatum as his name gets across the whole NBA and gets across the whole league as he turns out to be a young budding star. I like the nickname Cute Rabbit, and I'm sure that the guys in the locker room will definitely be joking around calling him that as well. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of Jayson Tatum's new nickname. But let's look at some more news ahead of tonight's Celtics game where the Celtics stars could be back tonight. As you guys know, on Wednesday, the Boston Celtics were without Jaylen Brown with a non-COVID illness and Kristaps Porzingis with a right knee contusion after he banged knees with Julius Randle on Monday night late in the fourth quarter. But we have some great news for the Boston Celtics from Jay King. It seems that the Boston Celtics had both of their players, Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown, shooting around and talking to media before the game tonight. And it sounds like Jaylen Brown intends to play tonight. He said he's feeling a lot better to Jay King, which is also a big plus for the Boston Celtics. But also, we also have some more news related to Kristaps Porzingis from Jay King, saying that Kristaps says he hopes to play tonight. Obviously, if both of them were warming up with the team and are available for media, it's looking like they will be likely to be playing tonight. Jaylen Brown, I would say, is more of a for sure go to be playing for the Boston Celtics. Probably had a little bit of a cold last game, didn't want to be able to play through that, but now it seems he is rested and looks like he's ready to go. He should be getting a lot of minutes tonight versus this Toronto Raptors team. Kristaps Porzingis might be another game time decision like he was versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I hope for him to play. He said that it shouldn't be a too serious injury on Wednesday, and ultimately he chose to sit out versus the Sixers, and he might make that decision tonight if it is a little bit risky, but hopefully he will be back in for the Boston Celtics tonight as they can have their core four ready to go with Derrick White. Obviously, Al Horford stepped up big in that Philadelphia 76ers game, and also so did the bench. So hopefully this team can come out ready to go, guns blazing like they did versus the 76ers team, and can be ready to beat this Toronto Raptors team in the in-season tournament to start off 2-0 versus the Raptors on the season and 2-0 versus in the in-season tournament, and hopefully get closer for that berth into the playoffs for that. But let's look at the main news at hand, which is talking about how Jrue Holiday shows out when he is needed. This is another piece from Jay King. Shout out to Jay King for putting out all this great Celtics content to break down for today's episode. But we have some great quotes here relating to an article about how Jrue Holiday was expected to be called upon when obviously the stars were out in Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis. We have a quote here saying, with Boston missing Kristaps Porzingis with the bruised right knee and Jaylen Brown with the illness, Joe Mazzulla demanded such aggressiveness from Holiday. This was the first time where Jrue, I told him before the game, I watched you on film take things over when with the guys on the Bucks team were out, and you won games because of what you did on both ends, Mazzulla said. So he was able to do some of that tonight, and that is what Joe Mazzulla was wanting out of Jrue Holiday. He wanted him to be that main guy alongside Jayson Tatum, knowing that he could do so when guys like Chris Middleton or Brook Lopez or even Giannis Antetokounmpo sat out for the Milwaukee Bucks. Jrue Holiday would step up big for them on both sides of the ball and help out tremendously. He ultimately did that greatly for the Boston Celtics in this 76ers matchup, and this is why he did that. He also wanted Jrue to be more aggressive. Jrue is known about being an aggressive backcourt duo mate. He will fight for loose balls. He will go for those steals. He will do everything he can on the tenacious end to be a non-stop, grill-in-your-face defender, all up in your grill. But then on the offensive side of the ball, Jrue Holiday will be looking to pressure you into the paint and be looking to score at you all single ways. If he's wide open for three, he can splash those as well, and that is what Joe Mazzulla wanted Jrue Holiday to do, and he did that successfully. Jrue Holiday was aggressive. Got to be more aggressive, Holiday said when we were relying the conversations to The Athletic. Got to go out there and take my shots. Really just being aggressive and be me. I know on this team we have so much talent that especially offensively, I can defer to other people. So having that conversation, he wants me to go out there and be aggressive, was definitely necessary for this Celtics roster, as Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis were out, could not be there for the Celtics. The bench ultimately held their own. Al Horford was aggressive on being on a block force down low in the paint, but guys like Jrue Holiday and Jayson Tatum had to step up hugely for the Boston Celtics to overlook those stars being out, and they did that. Derrick White had a big fourth quarter as well for the Celtics. We also look at some more quotes here with Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday says, I guess it's not really about trying. Holiday said, you just do it. I'm kind of a versatile player, so there's things I can do to affect the game without having the ball. So it's offensive rebounding, if it's rebounding in general, if it's getting steals and deflections, making big plays, whatever it is. Again, I'm just being a guy that sometimes I'll get the touches, sometimes I won't. Some days I'll get 15 shots, some days I'll get 4. I think that initially having the mindset of being aggressive, getting to the basket, playing through the paint is something that Joe Mazzulla wants. And that is definitely what I want to see out of Jrue Holiday. A guy who can do everything for the Boston Celtics and be a great versatile player. Obviously, we have mentioned in the past, the Jays are the number 1 and number 2 scoring options for this team. They are going to be the guys that the ball is going to be running through. And guys like Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday have mentioned in the past, they don't mind being the 3rd or 4th All-Star. They just want to help do their role and find out what they need to do in that game, specifically to help win the game. Like Jrue Holiday says, if he needs to get offensive or defensive rebounds and be a defensive freak for the Boston Celtics, he will do that. But if a night like on Wednesday night where he's required to be a more offensive prowess for this Boston Celtics team, to take the 15 shots that he's required to make and to be a effective offensive piece for this Boston Celtics team, he can do that as well, and that is something that I love to see out of Jrue Holiday. We also have another quote talking about how Jrue Holiday talked about fitting in, and he said there really hasn't been a challenge fitting in. I think it's more of a mindset, being able to pick up where we lack. If it's rebounding, obviously he talks about that. If it's paint touches, getting good shots, I'll do that. Guarding the best player out there out of their 5, I'll do that. But kind of what Joe was talking about was doing a little bit of everything, being a scorer, being aggressive, and as well as being kind of a dog on defense. And that is what we want to hear out of Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, doing what the Celtics guards need to do best, picking up the slack and doing everything that they can on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And if they can both be consistent for the Boston Celtics on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive, I think that the Boston Celtics can be a dominant team, and that this team will be even scarier once we get deeper into the season, because once they're communication all gels together and they actually get some chemistry building between this squad, it's going to be unstoppable to stop these guys, willing to know if someone has a mismatch that they're going to be able to attack that mismatch and dominate for each player. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for the Boston Celtics game tonight versus the Toronto Raptors, as the Celtics try to take a 2-0 series lead in the in-season tournament and a 2-0 series lead versus the Raptors in the regular season? Like I said, we will have a post-game live stream to break down everything from the Raptors and Celtics game. So if that interests you, or you have any questions about the game or the Celtics, make sure to join that, and we'll have a great time tonight. If you guys are still at this point in the video and still have yet to subscribe, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we know you guys enjoy the Celtics content. I'm Bruce Veliz, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace out.